Behind the crown, beneath the gold, lives a heart no tale has fully told. The world sees light, the world sees power, but not the tears that fall each hour. Applause rises like an endless sea, yet silence sits alone with me. The crown is heavy, bright and wide. It hides the wounds I keep inside. Smiles are carved upon my face, learned early, worn with grace. For rulers must laugh before the crowd, even when the soul cries loud. I walk through halls of marble and flame. Echoing footsteps whisper my name. Every wall knows secrets I hide. Every mirror shows a divided side. They bow before the throne I take, but never ask how much I ache. Gold-lined robes and jeweled rings cannot quiet the pain life brings. At banquets filled with laughter and cheer, loneliness is the guest seated near. Why does power feel so cold? Why does strength feel weak and old? Why does love seem far away, though thousands kneel and proudly stay? In crowded rooms, I stand alone, a silent king upon a throne. Voices blend into distant sound, as if my soul cannot be found. Behind the crown, I remove my name. I am no legend, no royal flame. I am a human, broken, small, afraid to stumble, afraid to fall. The night knows truths the day ignores. It hears my steps on empty floors. When candles fade and stars appear, the mask dissolves, the heart draws near. I speak to shadows, not to men. They listen without asking when. They do not judge, they do not lie. They simply watch the hours die. The moon becomes my quiet friend. It knows beginnings have an end. It knows the weight of silent pain, the cost of wearing pride like chain. I remember days before the throne, when laughter felt like flesh and bone, when dreams were wild, not dressed in law, when love was pure, untouched by awe. Before the crown chose me to be a symbol more than truly free, before my heart learned how to hide behind duty, fear, and pride. The people see a shining fate. They do not see the nights I wait for a word, a touch, a sign that proves a soul still walks with mine. For power feeds the world's demand, but starves the heart it holds in hand. And loyalty, though strong and loud, cannot replace a love unbowed. I give my days, I give my breath. I bargain daily with regret. For every promise that I keep, another part of me must sleep. Sacrifice is called my crown, but no one counts what I lay down. The cost is paid in silent tears, in unanswered hopes, in wasted years. Behind the crown, a child still lives, who wonders what true freedom gives, who dreams of walking without guard, of loving without thinking hard, of speaking truths without a script, of holding hands that are not clipped by rules, by titles, by the throne, by fate that never asked my own. Sometimes I envy simple lives, unpolished days, unmeasured nights, where love arrives without a plan, and hearts are known, not weighed by rank, where no one bows, no one pretends, where smiles are real, not means to ends, where silence means peace, not despair, and someone waits because they care. Yet dawn returns, the crown goes on, the lonely heart must greet the sun. My voice is steady, my steps are sure, my words inspire, my will is pure. They cheer the symbol, not the soul. They crown the image, not the whole. Behind the crown, I lock away the truths I cannot dare to say. That strength can break, that crowns can burn, that power gives but takes in turn. That even kings need arms to fall, a place to rest beyond the wall. That hearts do not obey a throne, they only ache to not be alone. And if one day the crown comes down, If time erases king and crown, I hope the world will see at last. Not just the glory of the past, but the human who stood inside, who loved, who feared, who never cried, where anyone could see the pain of ruling hearts while feeling chained. Behind the crown, when all is still, when night obeys the moon's soft will, a lonely heart still dares to pray for simple love, for simple days. The stars listen when I speak no words. They understand what crowds have never heard. In their distant, patient glow, they remind me I am more than show, more than titles stitched in gold, more than stories bravely told. I ask the night a simple thing. What is a man without a ring, without a crown upon his head, without the paths that power led? Would I be lighter? Would I be free if the world stopped watching me? The wind moves gently through the trees, unaware of rank or decree. It touches kings and beggars same. It knows no title, knows no name. I envy how it comes and goes, answering only what it knows. Behind the crown, time moves slow, each second heavy, each echo low. Decisions weigh like stones in hand. One word can change an entire land. They call it honor, they call it fate, but they do not feel the constant weight, the waiting for a quieter role, the waiting for rest within the soul. I sign my name, the ink runs deep, another promise I must keep. The paper holds what hearts cannot, a future planned, a feeling forgot. My hands are steady, trained to rule, yet inside I feel a fragile pull, a wish to pause, a wish to feel, a wish the crown were not so real. In private rooms with velvet shade, I sit with choices already made. The past knocks softly at the door, asking if I remember more than lessons, more than law, more than the fear that taught me awe. It asks if I recall the boy who laughed without controlled joy. That boy still breathes beneath my skin, though buried deep where crowns begin. He waits for moments rare and brief, when duty loosens its firm belief, when I can smile without design, when laughter comes without a sign. Sometimes a stranger meets my eyes, and in that glance a question lies. Not who I am, not what I own, but who I'd be if left alone. I almost answer, almost speak, but silence guards what feels too weak. They see the throne, they see the might. They do not see the sleepless nights. They do not hear the whispered doubt that follows me when lights go out. They cheer the crown upon my brow, not knowing how it bends me now. Love, they say, will come in time, chosen carefully, shaped, refined. But love that's measured, love that's planned, feels different from a heart-held hand. I fear a love that bows too low, that loves the crown, not who I know. Behind the crown, trust is rare, every smile weighed with careful care. Who stays for me? Who stays for gain? Who would remain through loss and pain? These questions walk beside my sleep. Secrets even dreams must keep. The world believes I have it all, yet does not hear my quiet call. For happiness is not command. It does not bend to royal hand. It comes when hearts are safe to break, when masks are gone, when walls all shake. Still, morning comes, the crown must shine. I step once more into the line. I lift my head, I play my part, a guarded face, a guarded heart. The people need a steady flame, a symbol strong, untouched by blame. So I become what they require, steel in voice, restrained desire. I lead with hope, I stand with grace, I hide the truth behind my face. For if a king begins to cry, the faith of many may run dry. Yet somewhere deep, beyond the role, beyond the scripts that shape my soul, I keep a wish both small and true, a dream I rarely dare pursue. That one day, crown or crownless still, someone will see beyond the will. They'll see the heart that learned to bend, that gave too much, yet still would mend. They'll sit beside me, not below, and love me for what I don't show. Until that day, I wear the crown and walk through cheers, through hush, through sound. Night after night, I learn the art of standing tall with a breaking heart, of listening more than I ever speak, of calling strength what feels like weak. The throne does not allow retreat. It demands a spine that will not bend or bleed. I watch the city sleep below, lights like stars in ordered rows. Each window holds a private tale of love that wins, of love that fails. I wonder if someone looks this way and thinks of me in a human way. The crown reflects the palace light, a constant glow through endless nights. But metal never feels the cold. It never wonders, never grows old. It does not ache for gentle truth or mourn the loss of fearless youth. Behind the crown, I age in thought, not by years, but by battles fought, by words unsaid, by roads not taken, by hearts protected, by dreams forsaken. Every choice removes a door, yet opens paths I can't ignore. I have learned how silence speaks, how power hides the soul it keeps, how praise can feel like distant rain, falling softly, never the same. How loyalty can fill a hall, yet fail to catch you when you fall. Sometimes I imagine setting down the weighty symbol of the crown, placing it where history sleeps, among old vows and promises kept, and walking out, unknown, unnamed, unfollowed by the rules of fame. In that dream, my steps are light, my breath is mine, my wrongs are right. I speak without fear of consequence, I love without defense. But dreams, like dawn, must always break, leaving reality awake. So I return to duty's call, to marble floors and gilded walls. I shake the hands, I sign the fate, I hold the line, I carry weight. They see resolve, they see control, they do not see the tired soul. Yet still, hope lives where sorrow stays, a quiet flame in shadowed days. For hearts, though lonely, still can beat, still search for something pure and sweet, still believe that fate may bend, that even crowns may someday end. And when that end at last appears, when titles fade with passing years, I pray what remains is something true. Not power lost, but love I knew. Not what I ruled, but how I cared. Not what I wore, but what I shared. Until that hour, calm and slow, I walk the path I didn't choose. There are moments when even echoes rest, when the palace exhales from its daily test. In that pause, between breath and sound, I feel my pulse without the crown. I touch the scars no one can see, left by choices made for destiny. Some were right, some carved in doubt. All of them shaped the man I am now. The throne remembers every vow, every promise I once allowed. It remembers hands that shook with fear and eyes that hid a silent tear. Wood and stone have longer sight than people lost in borrowed light. Behind the crown, forgiveness waits, knocking softly at guarded gates. I ask myself if I can forgive the life I lead, the life I live. For not all prisons have a wall, some are built by standing tall. I have smiled through storms of praise, walked straight through unending days. Yet sometimes kindness cuts the most when offered by a passing ghost. Someone who sees me, just for a while, not as a king, but a tired smile. The heart is stubborn, slow to learn. It loves, it aches, it still will yearn. No law can silence what it feels. No crown can change what time reveals. That power bends, that glory fades, that truth survives all masquerades. Behind the crown, I dream in color, not in gold, not in silver. I dream in warmth, in simple tones, in voices calling me back home. Home not built of marble wide, but where my name needs no guide. I wonder if the world would care if I laid my armor bare, if they would stay or turn away, if they saw the cost I pay. For admiration loves the flame, not the ash it leaves in name. Still, I rise when dawn is near, wearing courage over fear. I step again into the role, a guarded mind, a guarded soul. Not because I do not feel, but because the world must heal. If my loneliness buys their peace, then let my quiet ache not cease. If my silence steadies the land, then let it tremble in my hand. For meaning sometimes grows in pain, like flowers fed by unseen rain. Yet deep inside, where hope still starts, I believe in gentler arts, in a future soft and kind, where crowns are left and hearts aligned, where I am known not by decree, but by the truth of simply me. Until that time, through night and part, I carry on, both whole and scarred. There is a silence deeper than night, deeper than halls emptied of light. It lives between the words I speak, in pauses where the brave feel weak. In that silence, I meet myself, not the ruler placed upon a shelf, but the soul that asks for nothing more than to be seen, to be something core. I have learned that crowns do not decide what truly lives inside. They polish the image, sharpen the view, but they cannot tell me who is true. Behind the crown, fear walks slow, not loud, not wild, but steady and low. Fear of loving too deeply one day, fear of watching that love fade away. For when hearts break at royal height, they fall much farther out of sight. I have watched seasons change their skin, while I remained the same within. Spring arrives with borrowed cheer, winter leaves with honest fear. Time moves freely, asks no leave, while I stand still, taught to believe. Sometimes letters reach my hand, written by someone who will never stand close enough to know my pain. Yet they thank me again and again. Their hope rests heavy in my chest, a sacred burden, a holy test. And so I carry them in my breath, in every choice, in every step. Their faith becomes my quiet chain, strong as steel, sharp as pain. Behind the crown, love waits unnamed, afraid of fire, afraid of flame. For love must choose to stand or flee when it sees all of me. Not the glory, not the throne, but the nights I face alone. I wonder who would still remain if the crown were laid in rain, if power slipped like dust from skin, if silence showed what's underneath. Would they hear the softer tone? Would they answer when I groan? Or would they turn, like crowds often do, seeking someone strong and new? Still, I keep a sacred space for a love that does not chase the shine of gold, the sound of name, but finds me equal in the flame. Until that hour, slow and far, I follow duty like a star, not because it lights my way, but because it does not sway. Behind the crown, the heart still grows, even in shadows, even in woes. Loneliness teaches depth and sight, turns quiet pain into insight. And if one day the world looks back, past the stories, past the plaque, may it remember not the throne, but the man who stood alone, who ruled with care, who bore the cost, who found his soul, though often lost. Until that end, through dark and start, I walk with grace and guarded heart. Behind the crown, through all I've known, a lonely heart still calls it home.